श्री गुरुम वैष्णवांश्च श्री रूपम सगान जातम सह गण रघुनाथम वितम तम सजीवम सदा वितम स्वधूतम परिजन सहितम कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सह गण ललिता श्री विशाखा स्वशा। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते। तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पातरु कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So I think we had already done 2.15
में है। हाँ,
2.15 नहीं 2.15 भी नहीं हुआ था।
नहीं 2.15 हो गया, 2.16 से स्टार्ट करो।
2.16 से स्टार्ट करना है। Actually, you see, the Lord is now telling very important things in these couple of verses. Two verses have already gone by. One was the matra sparshas tu kaunteya shitoshno sukh dukda agma paino nitya तंस तितिक्षवा भारता। मतलब उन्होंने ही टोल्ड अबाउट, ही स्टार्टेड विद दैट, है ना, कि उसके अंदर बहुत बड़ा कीवर्ड था तितिक्षवा, वी अंडरस्टूड दैट वी शुड लर्न टू टॉलरेट। उसके बाद में द लास्ट पुरुष था, लास्ट वाज का नाम है, ये भी बड़ा की श्लोक था कि यम हिमना व्यथन्ते ते पुरुषम पुरुषर्षभा सम दुख सुखम धीरम सोमवृय कल्पते। Here he told about once again about that the concept of being steady in both happiness and distress. How to be? The key word was, just like in the last slok, the key word was titikshva. In the light of happiness and distress. And in this verse, it was dheer, that being how to be steady in the face of happiness and distress, so that you do not become unnecessarily distressed at the time of unhappiness, and you do not become unnecessarily overjoyed by at the time of happiness. Being dheer jo word jo hai, that is very very key. Now we come to the very very important first verse by Lord Shri Krishna about the distinction between body and soul. This is the very first verse when Lord Krishna starts describing the most fundamental aspect of our existence. What is the shlok? Na sate vidyate bhavo ना भावो विद्यते सता उभरोपि दृष्टोंचस्त्व योस तत्वदर्शी भी. Translation reads like this: those who are the seers of truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. Actually, Karam, before going to the purport, the key words I want you to please pay attention. One is asat and sat. Asat and sat. Just like in the last two verses, you see, always when we read Bhagwat Gita, we should try to catch the key word of the shloka. You see, in the last but one shlok, it was titikshva. Then the last verse was, it was dheer, in my opinion. Dheer, how to be steady. Once you keep these, because Bhagavad Gita is such a great sacred text, you know, that what to talk of the full shloka.
Hmm.
One word is like nectar. Straight
Hmm.
away, it removes your all your doubts. You
Hmm.
see, let me explain because I was listening to one of the very high level devotee. He was narrating what one incident. He was telling that you see Ganges river गंगा जिनको हम लोग गंगा माता बोलते हैं, हर एक को नहीं,
हाँ,
नर्मदा माता नहीं बोलते हैं,
गंगा।
Hmm.
गंगा मैया की जय, गंगा मैया की जय. We give her the status of the mother, and blood, and one bath in the Ganges can remove all your present sins, it is said. And where the Ganga emanates from the feet of Lord Shri Krishna
शिवा।
and Vishnu.
अच्छा,
And
अच्छा,
it
अच्छा।
comes to the, and Lord Krishna, at the request of King Bhagirath, he held, because otherwise Ganges would have taken away everything, the earth, she
Hmm.
would have sunk. So Lord Shiva,
शिवा,
at
शिवा,
the
शिवा।
request of Bhagirath, he took Ganges, and that is how it went slowly. उनके वेग को उन्होंने, he held it,
रोका।
रोका उन्होंने. तो यू सी क्या है कि when a river, a Ganges, which is emanating from the feet of Lord Shri Krishna and Vishnu, which is so sacred, then you can imagine what has been said from his mouth. So you see, this why I am telling you that we have been reading all these sacred texts for quite some time. It impressed me a lot. You see, then your outlook towards this text becomes very different. That Bhagavad Gita is like अमृत जिसको बोलते हैं ना, ये इसका each and every word is अमृत like. So in this verse, the two keywords Sat and Asat. सत क्या असत क्या चीज है? नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट. बॉडी नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट है, इट विल वैनिश, इट इज चेंजिंग परमानेंटली, इट इज changing slowly and it will meet eventually death. But soul is permanent, that is sat. Soul is sat, body is asat. So these two are keywords. The Lord is, for the in the first verse, he is explaining the difference between non-existent and existent, the permanent and temporary. This is what. Now I will read the purport. There is no endurance of the changing body. There is no endurance of the changing body. It is not permanent. That the body is changing every moment by the action and reactions of the different cells is admitted by the modern medical science.
Hmm.
I think we all know that every 7 years, each and every cell of our body has changed. So our face, although outer outlook may remain the same, but the content has changed, including the skin. And thus growth and old age are taking place in the body.
Hmm.
But the spirit soul exists permanently, remaining the same despite all changes of the body
Hmm.
and the mind. That is the difference between matter and spirit. Body is
Hmm.
matter,
Hmm.
and soul, that is spirit, which is permanent. Body is
Hmm.
changing, soul is remaining eternal.
Hmm.
The soul in a child, in a adult, in an old man is remaining the same.
सेम।
That is the difference between the matter and spirit. By nature, the body is ever changing and the soul is eternal. This is what the Lord has said in this verse. This conclusion is established by all classes of seers of truth, both impersonalist and personalist. You see, here the Lord is very strangely, you see, he is putting the not that I am not saying, but it is those very high level acharyas and those तत्वदर्शी भी, तत्व, those who have known the truth. उसी बड़े बड़े आचार्यों का, उनका ये कहना, उन्होंने ये डिटरमिन किया है.
Yes.
They have determined. This is you see, ये लॉर्ड की कर्म है, मतलब ये ग्रेटनेस है. That it is not, he is giving, he is telling that it is not just I who is saying this, but ये तत्वदर्शी भी लोगों को कहना है. तत्वदर्शी भी कौन है? और बाय द सीयर्स. सीयर्स तो आप लोग जानते ही होंगे ना, मतलब जो है ना, ज्ञानी लोग जो हैं, है ना, ज्ञानी लोग जो हैं. In the Vishnu Puran 2.1-2.3, it is stated that Vishnu and his abodes all have self-illuminated spiritual existence. Jyotirmi Vishnu, Bhurtimani Vishnu. The words existent and non-existence refer only to spirit and matter. वही मैंने जो कहा, इस कीवर्ड को अगर आप, if you can absorb it, sata and asata, permanent and temporary, of the existent, non-existent. That is the version of all seers of truth. एक और भी वर्ड, बड़ा की वर्ड है, तत्वदर्शी भी, तत्व, ट्रुथ. ये वर्ड भी गीता में जगह जगह आएगा. तत्व, तत्व ज्ञाता, तत्व, सेल्फ रियलाइज्ड कर्म है, जो those who have come to know the truth ना. अच्छा, this is the beginning of the instructions of the Lord to the living entities who are bewildered by the influence of ignorance. ये पहला, it is the beginning. Removal of ignorance involves the re-establishment of eternal relationship between the worshipper and the worshipable, and the consequent understanding of the difference between the part and parcel living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What I understand from this para is that unless you understand the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead vis-a-vis us, that we are in a very, very subordinate position. He is the Supreme. Till that time, you will not be able to appreciate Bhagavad Gita. This is, I think, this is, or all along, Prabhupada जो है वो जगह जगह he is trying to tell that. One can understand the nature of the Supreme by thorough study of oneself. The difference between the oneself and the Supreme Being understood as a relationship between the part and the whole. In the Vedanta Sutra as well as in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme has been accepted as the origin of all emanations. Such emanations are experienced by superior and inferior natural sequences. The living entities belong to the Supreme Nature, as it will be revealed in the 7th chapter. Although there is no difference between the energy and the energetic is accepted as the Supreme, and the energy or the nature is accepted as subordinate. The living entities therefore are always subordinate to the Supreme, as in the case of master and servant, or the teacher and the taught. Such clear knowledge is impossible to understand under the spell of ignorance, and to drive away such ignorance, the Lord teaches the Bhagavad Gita for the enlightenment of all living entities for all the time. ये last वाला पैरा जो है, it is not related to verse, but here he is just trying to impress upon us that unless you understand your position vis-a-vis the Supreme Lord's position, you will not be able to understand. You will not be able to appreciate what is asat, what is sat, what is tattva, like that, because then only you will be able to appreciate. See, that is what is being told here, I think. है ना? So anyone else? I think I am done.
अभी तो नहीं बोल सकते,
है ना? तो नेक्स्ट वाला कौन पढ़ेगा? ये भी बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट. नेक्स्ट वन इज इवन मोर इंपॉर्टेंट. See, the Lord is ये couple of these three four verses ना, जो भगवद गीता में chapter 2 का essence, here का नाम है that he is establishing the position of soul and body. जब पहले हम लोगों ने जब हिंदी का पढ़ रहे थे ना, तो जरा थोड़ा सा जल्दी, इसीलिए भगवद गीता as many times you will read, you will come to know things. It is not, it is a very, very very, very important text. This next verse is even more important, where
Hmm.
they will, आपको लगेगा कि भाई ये क्या है, मतलब एक बार बता दिया काफी है, नो,
Hmm.
ही इज टेलिंग,
बार
बिकॉज जो है ना ये, अब लोगों का बड़ा मतलब लॉजिकल माइंड बहुत है ना, वो तो
Hmm.
क्वेश्चन करेंगे, वो तो दे विल गो ऑन क्वेश्चनिंग, दे विल क्वेश्चन द लॉर्ड, you see. So he has clarified each and every aspect of
Hmm.
soul and body. Next verse तो कौन
Okay.
पढ़ेगा?
I'll
हाँ,
I'll read the next one.
ओके ओके।
17. अविनाशी तु तद्विधि येन सर्वम् इदं ततं विनाशम् अव्ययस्यस्य न कश्चित् कर्तुम् अर्हति. That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. Purport. This verse more clearly explains the real nature of the soul, which is spread all over the body. Anyone can understand what is spread all over the body. It is consciousness. Everyone is conscious of the pains and pleasures of the body in part or as whole. This spreading of consciousness is limited within one's own body. The pains and pleasures of one body are unknown to another. Therefore, each and every body is the embodiment of an individual soul, and the symptom of the soul's presence is perceived as individual consciousness. This soul is described as 1/10,000th part of the upper portion of the hair point in size. The Shvetashvatara Upanishad 5.9 confirms this. Balagra Shata Bhagasya Shatadha Kalpitasya Cha Bhago Jivah Sa Vigyeyah Sa Chanantatyaya Kalpati. When the upper point of a hair is divided into 100 parts, and again each of such parts is further divided into 100 parts, each such part is the measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. Similarly, the same version is stated. Keshagra Shata Bhagasya Shatamshaha Sadrishatmakaha Jiva Shukshma Swarupoyam Sankhyatito hi Chit Kana. There are innumerable particles of spiritual atoms which are measured as 1/10,000th of the upper portion of the hair. Therefore, the individual particle of spirit soul is a spiritual atom smaller than the material atoms, and such atoms are innumerable. This very small spiritual spark is the basic principle of the material body, and the influence of such a spiritual spark is spread all over the body as the influence of the active principle of some medicine, as the influence of the active principle of some medicine spreads throughout the body. This current of the spirit soul is felt all over the body as consciousness, and that is the proof of the presence of the soul. Any layman can understand that the material body minus consciousness is a dead body, and this consciousness cannot be revived in the body by any means of material administration. Therefore, consciousness is not due to any amount of material combination, but to the spirit soul. In the Mukunda Upanishad 3.1.9, the measurement of the atomic spirit soul is further explained. Esho nur atmachetasa viditavyo yasmin pranaha panchadha samvivesha pranayashchittam sarvam otam prajnanam yasmin vishuddhe vibhavati esha atma. The soul is atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. This atomic soul is floating in the five kinds of air: Pran, Apan, Vyan, Samman, and Udan, is situated within the heart and spread its influence all over the body of the embodied living entities. When the soul is purified from the combination of the five kinds of material air, its spiritual influence is exhibited. The Hatha Yoga system is meant for controlling the five kinds of air and circling the pure soul by different kinds of sitting postures, not for any material profit, but for liberation of the minute soul from the entanglement of the material atmosphere. So the constitution of the atomic soul is admitted in all Vedic literatures, and it is also actually felt in the practical experience of any sane man. Only the insane man can think of this atomic soul as all-pervading Vishnu Tattva. The influence of the atomic soul can be spread all over a particular body. According to the Mukunda Upanishad, this atomic soul is situated in the heart of every living entity. And because the measurement of the atomic soul is beyond the power of appreciation of the material scientists, some of them assert foolishly that there is no soul. The individual atomic soul is definitely there in the heart along with the super soul, and thus all the energies of bodily movement are emanating from this part of the body. The corpuscles which carry the oxygen from the lungs gather energy from the soul. When the soul passes away from this position, the activity of the blood generating fusion ceases. Medical science accepts the importance of the red corpuscles, but it cannot ascertain that the source of the energy is the soul. Medical science, however, does admit that the heart is the seat of all energies of the body. Such atomic particles of the spirit whole are compared to the sunshine molecules. In the sunshine, there are innumerable radiant molecules. Similarly, the fragmental parts of the Supreme Lord are atomic sparks of the rays of the Supreme Lord, called by the name Prabha or superior energy. So, whether one follows Vedic knowledge or modern science, one cannot deny the existence of the spirit soul in the body. And the science of the soul is explicitly described in the Bhagavad Gita by the personality of Godhead himself. इसमें ना मतलब कि there are portions जैसे कि the first thing जो to appreciate is the soul. So जिसमें कि the Srila Prabhupada gave a very simple analogy that you look at dead body. The body is the same. All parts are there. All materially it is the same. Actually, people have even weighed it, and it's the same. Yet it has stopped moving. It is dead. Why are you calling it dead? Because it is the spirit soul. The spirit soul is what animates the body. That is what makes like my hand move, my mouth moving. That is the spirit soul is animating the body. एक तो that is the first thing, because without the spirit soul it's just dead matter, right? Then the second thing which is very important, which I can appreciate here, is that this spirit soul is small, and it is a spark of the full supreme soul, which is the Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is the supreme, the full complete soul, supreme soul, and we are but a spark of it. So it's the best analogy Srila Prabhupada gave was just you look at ocean. If you take one drop of the ocean, it will taste salty. It has the same constituents, but the quality is the same. The quality of one drop of ocean and the entire ocean is the same. Constituents are the same, but the quantity is very different. Is just a one drop, whereas the quantity of the ocean is ocean. Same way, we also have the same spark that the Lord has. The Lord ki can quantity is like for instance, we can only appreciate our pain and pleasure. We can only experience what is happening with us, whereas the Lord can know about everybody, what is happening in everybody's mind. He is as a Paramatma, he is there in everybody. So these are the two distinctions. Like एक तो the existence of the soul, and the soul is a minute particle. It's the same spiritual spark, but it's a minute instance of the supreme spirit. That's my
Anyone
take.
else? See, here, this is a very important verse. How the Lord has told that the key word here is Avinashi. That soul is indestructible. अच्छा, उसके बाद में ये कह रहे हैं येन सर्वम idam tat. It is spread all over the body, which is kind of consciousness. Spirit soul is, then Prabhupada has gone on further to state that soul is in heart, and then it activates. Somehow it is sarvam idam tat. It is spread it throughout the body. Acha, now the Lord has said that it is indestructible. Ab the logical human mind will inquire क्या नाम है कि भाई वो तो your ancient literature establishes the dimension of the soul. Why he has Prabhupada has covered this? The dimension of soul is not mentioned not in one Puran but many Purans. That it is 1/10,000 of the dimension of the hair. It is so small, so that it cannot be cut by a sword. It cannot be. You see, that is why he has said, the soul is so small, like that. Avinashi to tadvidhi. So that is why he has gone into explaining the dimension so much. Prabhupada. Lord Krishna does not dwell on this. He just says that it is spread अविनाशी तू तद विद्धि. ये तू जान ले कि ये जो आत्मा जो है ना, ये पूरे शरीर में है और इसको विनाश इसका नहीं हो सकता है ना. और ये नेक्स्ट वर्ड में विनाशा अवश्यासा न कश्चित कर्तुम अर्हति. इसका विनाश कोई नहीं कर सकता. You see, this is that which pervades the entire body, that is the soul. You should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. Very, very firmly, Lord is positioning the eternity of the soul part. I think that is the key part. He is once again establishing what is the difference between body and soul. That soul will not be destroyed. Body will be destroyed, if at all. If you kill somebody, it is only the body which is becoming dead. This is what is
That's why that's why Lord Krishna was able to say a couple of shloks ago, na, कि भाई Arjun, you don't remember, but I know all these kings were before us also. They will continue to be individual souls. Similarly, like you, मतलब कि before this also you were there. After this also these people will exist. तो couple of श्लोक पहले कहा था ना, वो इसीलिए था क्योंकि मतलब because the soul is indestructible. Actually, this gives a very different, मतलब कि हम लोगों का जो डेथ के साथ जो हम लोगों की रिलेशनशिप है, it then changes dimension. Right now people are very scared of death, whereas once you really internalize this more and more practice, say death is just like one transmigration of soul from one body to another body. You're just taking your like this body is just like कि मतलब ये कार की तरह है, मतलब कि ओके जब कार खराब हो जाएगी तो आप दूसरी कार ले लेंगे. तो वैसे ही the body is like a machine. The soul is taken on this machine. Once the purpose of this machine is done, this machine is no longer useful.
When the machine is old, it is no more serviceable. It is no more. Then you discard that machine. You buy a new car. The same thing happens with our body. That is why they say that धीरस धीर जो आदमी है वो उसे नहीं होता. तथा देहांतर प्राप्तिर धीरस तत्व न मोहयति. मतलब he does not get bewildered. धीर पुरुष जो है, ये धीर is another very key word all along. So I think next one. I will read maybe agar if you want.
Yeah.
Because you are
yeah.
Anta vanta ime deha nitya syokta sharirana anashino prameyasya tasmadhudhya swabharata. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharat. The material body is perishable by nature. It may perish immediately, or it may do so after 100 years. It is a question of time only. There is no chance of maintaining it indefinitely. But the spirit soul is so minute that it cannot even be seen by an enemy, to say nothing of being killed. See, As mentioned in the previous verse, it is so small that no one can have any idea how to measure its dimension. So, from both viewpoints, there is no cause of lamentation, because the living entity as he is cannot be killed, nor can the material body be saved for any length of time, permanently protected. The minute particle of the whole spirit acquired this material body according to his work, and therefore observance of religious principle should be utilized. In the in the Vedant Sutra, the living entity is qualified as light because he is part and parcel of the supreme light. As sunlight maintains the entire universe, so the light of the soul maintains this material body. As soon as the spirit soul is out of the material body, the body begins to decompose. Therefore, it is the spirit soul which maintains this body. The body itself is unimportant. Arjuna was advised to fight and not to sacrifice the cause of religion for material bodily considerations. Here, once again, the Supreme Lord now is concentrating on the body aspect. This body is temporary. It is in any case going to die. Whether you fight or not fight, these kings will die. Not today, maybe after 50, 60 years. They have already, beyond total 100 years, they will not live. So, and you will also die eventually. Your body will finish off. But your soul is permanent, their soul is permanent. So, you should not give up the religious principles for something which is temporary. That is why he says, that is why he exhorts that you fight, O descendant of Bharat. The Lord is, you see, he is trying to convince his disciple. He is not ordering him straight away. He is trying to convince him. By
Another, one learning that I can see is कि you see, हम लोग के लिए मतलब कि irrespective of how difficult it is on the bodily level, but one should continue doing their religious practices, their prescribed duty.
correct,
That,
yes.
that's what he's saying. Fight is the right now. Fight is his
We
prescribed duty. Go ahead. Yeah.
ये जो तुम कह रहे हो ना, fight, this word is key for all of us. We have to continue the fight every day. You see, just like Lord is telling Arjun to do duty, we have also to do our duty. You
Irrespective
have
of
to earn a
bodily
living.
duty.
You have to work. You have to take a bath every day religiously. And you have to do your duty. And one of the duties is also to pay obeisances to the Supreme Lord, जिनकी वजह से हमको ये मनुष्य का जीवन मिला हुआ है. This is also one of our duties, among many others, because we are all grahastas. Eh, we are maintaining a home. We are not sannyasis,
बिल्कुल.
है ना? और सन्यासा जो है वो it has not been recommended anywhere, है ना? अभी अभी हम लोग जो हिंदी वर्षन में जो पढ़ रहे थे ना, वो भी एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज थी, अनुकरण और अनुसरण. भगवान को फॉलो करना है, उनको कॉपी नहीं करना है ना? आगे आएगा. एनीवे, चलो. हाँ हाँ हाँ, बोलो. यस प्लीज.
It's a two-way arrow. One is saying body consciousness has to be diminished, and simultaneously you have to take care of it as you live as Atma within this body.
बिल्कुल तुमने, you have got it very very correctly. You see, this body does not belong to us. It is given by the Supreme Lord. It belongs to him. He has given us this body. We have to maintain this body because it
So that
is
we
a
can do
gift from,
work
yes,
for the Lord.
so that we can. So that is why you must eat healthy food. You must do exercise. You must मतलब go out for a walk. ये all this. इसका मतलब, you see, body is temporary, but at the same time it has been given by the Lord to you for a specific purpose. And that specific, for serving that specific purpose, you have to maintain this body in good condition. जैसे कार है आपकी, कार को आपको सर्विसिंग करवाते रहना पड़ेगा, उसको आपको क्या नाम है, मतलब
And
गुड
actually,
फिट में मेंटेन करना पड़ेगा.
इसी कंसेप्ट को जो आप कह रहे हो, द सेम कंसेप्ट यू कैन एक्सटेंड इट टू अदर थिंग्स आल्सो. लाइक you have been given the gift to study. You're like, okay, I can understand maths, computer science. God has given me this gift, so I have to use it and maximize it so that I can give it to God. I can use it to earn money and give it back to God. Similarly, you can view, okay, I have been given family members like parents, children, other members have been given. These are again gifts from God. So then you have to take care of them. Like you have to take care of your body and try to move everybody in the direction of Lord Krishna. Like everybody, because that is there, then they can also serve their purpose. Then you can start. This is what is Krishnizing it. Then this is called like aligning yourself towards Lord Krishna. Your body, your occupation, your relationships. That, because I've heard this from like it takes a while, but that's what people have said. Like the devotees have said that you cannot heal, you cannot fix your relationship directly. You cannot. Once you bring Lord Krishna in the center,
Then
then it will automatically
all
get
relationship
fixed.
becomes alive.
Then it will automatically get fixed. Because only Lord Krishna can, because he controls intelligence, he controls in both everybody. So then it will immediately get, not immediately, but it will get, that's the only way to fix it. Directly you cannot fix it. So that's, I just wanted to extend what Dad said,
जी
like it's to your
जीजा जी,
body, to
हाँ,
other things.
I got one point that in summarized form, God is saying that body is temporary, soul is permanent. So it is our moral responsibility uh, which proportion of time we are paying for body and which proportion of time we are paying for soul. That we must understand.
very, very close, very, very good. You know,
I think so, Jai.
bilkul, you see, body is a gift from God and soul is subordinate to God,
Hmm.
you know. And once you body is has been given by God, we have to maintain it. We have to use it in the service of the Lord because our soul is subordinate to the Supreme Lord. You see, if we start Karama doing that, see the point is कि we are not attached to the body, but we are not ignoring it.
Yes.
See, same goes for the relationships also.
Hmm.
That detachment does not mean कि क्या नाम है किसी भी चीज को इग्नोर करना है. उसको खाली हमें क्या नाम है कृष्णाइज करके देखना है.
Like you are like a caretaker. You are a caretaker. मुझे बड़ा अच्छा वर्ड लगता है जो ये लोग यूज करते हैं devotees. You are a caretaker of your body. You are a caretaker of everybody in your life. You are a caretaker. You are not like the enjoyer of it. You are just taking care of it. Like a है ना मतलब कि you are not the enjoyer. You cannot control them. You just caretaker. Go ahead,
So,
Papa.
Jiya
बस
ji, Jiya ji, I
I,
think after reading these two shlokas, we must remember that God is emphasizing that we should pay more attention towards the spirit.
yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes. You
Yes.
see, that is where all
100%.
the क्या नाम है, what
Yes.
are in this material world, people are just paying attention to their body
Yes.
relationships, and they
Only.
are not taking care of their soul at all, which is
Actually,
the most
even though
important thing. They are completely ignoring. You see, you can see that. You
you
know,
see, actually it's the much worse. Actually it's the contrast में, if you see यहाँ पे, now you will see it in India also, people are first exploiting their body for sense gratification. They will push their body like, let me keep work hard, play hard. So first you exploit yourself to the maximum, then you exploit everybody around you to the maximum, then you exploit the nature to the maximum, so that you can just keep getting more sense enjoyment. I think that's what right now people are doing without realizing. But that's we can, but where rather than being the caretaker, you are becoming the exploiter of everything.
and ultimately all their actions, all their material actions in which they expect happiness is a cause of distress. Immediately you
Hmm.
exploit the body, it will have the reaction. वो आपको 50 तरह की बीमारी, अब शराब पी करके
Hmm.
आप करो, क्या नाम
Hmm.
है ना, कोई भी करो आप, एनी यू इंडल्ज इन एनी
Hmm.
एक्सेस, चाहे वो टंग का एक्सेस हो, चाहे किसी भी ऑर्गन का एक्सेसेस है, वो
Hmm.
आपको तकलीफ देगा ही देगा.
Hmm. Hmm.
That is why, you see, you have very rightly put that
Hmm.
you have to feed your soul, you have to
Hmm.
feed your body as well as the
Hmm.
soul.
Hmm.
Hmm.
एटलीस्ट
You have to
कुछ नहीं
focus
तो
on
थोड़ा
the soul.
बैलेंस तो
Start
करना शुरू
focusing on
करो.
the soul.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
If nothing else, at least you
Hmm.
make the beginning to balance. At
Hmm.
least can I devote some time, energy, and
Hmm.
can I this thing to
Yes.
can I take
Time.
care of your soul.
Hmm.
उसी में the chanting that really helps a
Hmm.
lot. Like that.
Yes. Hmm.
चैंटिंग रियली हेल्प्स भाई, ये तो
Hmm.
है आप लोग अगर करके देखेंगे तो आपको लगेगा.
Then you are
Hmm.
directly connecting to your soul. The
Hmm.
chanting,
Yes.
you are connecting to the Lord, which is the supreme soul. But
Hmm.
then by that you are connecting to your soul also.
Hmm.
So इसलिए. Okay. Want me to read 19?
हाँ 19.
19. या एनं वेत्ति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विज्ञानितो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it is slain is in knowledge. For the self slays for the self slays not, nor is slain. Purport. When an embodied living entity is hurt by fatal weapons, it is to be known that the living entity within the body is not killed. The spirit soul is so small that it is impossible to kill him by any material weapon, as will be evident from subsequent verses. Nor is the living entity killable because of his spiritual constitution. What is killed or is supposed to be killed is the body only. This, however, does not at all encourage killing of the body. The Vedic injunction is Ma himsyat sarva bhutani. Never commit violence to anyone. Nor does understanding that the living entity is not killed encourage animal slaughter. Killing the body of anyone without authority is abominable and is punishable by the law of the state as well as by the law of the Lord. Arjun, however, is being engaged in killing फॉर द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ रिलीजन एंड नॉट whimsically. ये बड़ा ही एक्चुअली इसमें मुझे दो तीन पॉइंट्स बड़े. वन पॉइंट तो ये इट रियली चेंजेस. अच्छा अभी हम लोग जैसे if somebody passes, we are sad and that is a very natural reaction.
Hmm.
But you see the person has not, it is ये बड़ा कि the soul has passed on. It's just the body has died, but the
Hmm.
soul has passed on. This consciousness that we are right now interacting with, this consciousness will move on. It will take on another body. Yes, we will miss out on the relationship with that
Hmm.
consciousness. और दूसरी चीज ये बड़ा ब्यूटीफुल मेरे को लगती है ये कि यहीं पे ना मतलब लॉर्ड से कनेक्ट करने से ही आपको पता लगेगा व्हाट इज द राइट कोर्स ऑफ एक्शन. इट इज वेरी, जैसे वैदिक इंजंक्शन इज वेरी स्ट्रांग कि यू कैन नॉट किल एनीबडी, राइट,
Hmm.
नॉट इवन एनिमल्स, ह्यूमंस की तो बात ही छोड़ दीजिए. येट
Hmm.
अर्जुन इज बीइंग आस्क्ड, मतलब मोटिवेटेड टू फाइट.
Hmm.
बिकॉज व्हेन यू हैव टू कनेक्ट टू, क्या उसमें डिफरेंस, जो सबसे बड़ा डिफरेंस है, अर्जुन इज फाइटिंग फॉर द प्लेजर ऑफ कृष्णा. It is
Hmm.
authorized by Krishna. It is in the plan of Krishna. Krishna is trying to set up the religion, establish
Hmm.
the religion. So अब हमको कैसे पता लगेगा? तभी we have to connect to Lord Krishna. Then he will give us. He is the Paramatma inside us. जो
Hmm.
मुझे लगता है कि then he gives us the understanding. And of
Hmm.
course, if we can meet devotees, they can help us. तो
Hmm.
ये दोनों चीजें, क्योंकि ऐसे इंडिविजुअल सिचुएशन में बड़ा हार्ड रहता है. बट But the more we connect to Lord Krishna will definitely provide an answer. Definitely. या तो इन किताबों से या आप किसी से मिल के, because he is in everybody, right? He is in Paramatma. Whosoever you interact with, maybe through him, he will give you the right answer. Maybe through a sadhu. So, but we just have to connect to Lord. He will give us the answer of our dilemma. That's it. That's it.
यहाँ पे बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट जो तुमने कहा ना, बिल्कुल एकदम तुमने, यू हैव ब्रॉट इट आउट कंप्लीटली. ओनली थिंग इज कि ना, मैं हियर जो जो श्लोक में है, नाइदर ही हु थिंक्स द लिविंग एंटिटी द स्लेयर, मतलब कि अर्जुन इज थिंकिंग दैट ही विल बी किलिंग, whereas he is not, ऐसा लगता है. The
Yes,
slayer,
yes.
nor he who thinks it is slain is in knowledge. Nor क्या नाम है, जो जो बंदा जो 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 who is, मतलब बाई स्टैंडर भी है, या जो जिसको जो मारा जा रहा है, who is slain thinks is in knowledge. उनको ट्रुथ का पता ही नहीं है ना. They do not know the truth. For the self slays not, मतलब आत्मा किसी को किल भी नहीं करती है, nor it gets killed.
Yes.
ये कह रहे हैं यहाँ पे. यहाँ पर जो है ये कह रहे हैं कि भाई वही जो 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 जो, जो वरुण बता रहे हैं कि यहाँ पर बिकॉज इट इज सैंक्शनड बाय द सुप्रीम लॉर्ड, सो दैट इज व्हाई अर्जुन हैज टू फॉलो दिस. बट अदरवाइज none of us have any right to take out anybody's body. See, we are not, because when you think that my body is a gift from God, then so is the other person's body is a gift from God. So is the animal, कर मैं जो एनिमल स्लॉटर कर रहा है उसकी भी बॉडी कर मैं भगवान ने एक पर्पस से बनाई है. इफ यू टेक इट अवे देन डेफिनेटली कर मैं, मतलब फॉर योर सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन, तो वो प्रभुपाद जी ने यहाँ पे कहा है ना. बट द बेसिक जो चीज है वो, दैट पार्ट इज वेरी वेरी ब्यूटिफुली, once again Prabhupada is establishing the eternity of the spirit soul, that it is neither slain or nor slays, है ना. मतलब उसका सोल का बॉडी से कनेक्शन वो एक्सप्लेन करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं रिपीटेडली भगवान.
Yes.
Next shloka is another very important shloka, very very important. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam भूत्वा भविता व न भूय अजो नित्या शाश्वतो यम पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Soul is eternal. It is ever existent. It will ever be existent in future also. It is different. One soul is different from another soul. Soul की identity भी है.
If you notice, very interesting, it just come to me. If you read this, this is the same thing that can be said about the Supreme Personality of Godhead also. He is neither born or nor does he die. He does not come into being. He is the unborn. He is the primeval. It's actually, मतलब वो मैं वही कि मतलब we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. तो जो हम लोगों के ऊपर अप्लाई होता है वो एक्चुअली लॉर्ड के ऊपर भी, लॉर्ड इज ऑल्सो एग्जैक्टली लाइक दैट. ही इज द ओरिजिनल प्राइमेवल लॉर्ड गोविंदमादि पुरुषम.
वो अभी आगे चल रहे हैं चैप्टर 15 में ये बड़ा अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन किया हुआ है. मतलब लॉर्ड ने ही हैज एक्सप्लेन कि क्या शर है, अक्षर है, और वो कैसे इन ऑल्दो हम लोगों के अंदर में भगवान की क्वालिटीज अंश है, मतलब वेरी माइन्यूट क्वांटिटी ऑफ द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ द सुप्रीम लॉर्ड वी हैव. ईच एंड एवरी इंडिविजुअल सोल हैज दिस. ओनली थिंग इज क्वांटिटी का फर्क है. जैसे द क्वालिटी वी हैव, जैसे कहीं पे कंपैरिजन दिया है बिटवीन ए ड्रॉप ऑफ ओशन एंड ओशन. ए ड्रॉप ऑफ ओशन हैज द सेम क्वालिटीज एज दैट ऑफ द ओशन, बट क्वांटिटी में बहुत डिफरेंस है. A ocean is an ocean and a drop is a drop, like that. Anyway, purport पढ़ते हैं, है ना? Qualitatively, the small atom, fragmental part of the Supreme Spirit is one with the Supreme. He undergoes no change like the body. Sometimes the soul is called the steady kutastha. The body is subject to 6 kinds of transformations. It takes birth from the womb of the mother's body, remains for some time, grows, produces some effect, gradually dwindles, and at last vanishes into the oblivion. The soul, however, does not go through such changes. The soul is not born, but because he takes on a material body, the body takes its birth. The soul does not take birth there, and the soul does not die. Anything which has birth also has death. And because the soul has no birth, he therefore has no past, present, or future. He is eternal, ever existing, and primeval. That is, there is no trace in history of his coming into being. Under the impression of the body, we seek the history of birth, etc., of the soul. The soul does not at any time become old, as the body does. The so-called old man, therefore, feels himself to be in the same spirit as in his childhood or youth. The changes of the body do not affect the soul. The soul does not deteriorate like a tree nor anything material. The soul has no byproduct either. The byproducts of the body, namely the children, are also different individual souls. And owing to the body, they appear as children of a particular man. The body develops because of the soul's presence, but the soul has neither the offshoots nor the change. Therefore, the soul is free from the 6 changes of the body. In the Katha Upanishad 1.2.18, we also find a similar passage which reads, Na jayate mrityate va vipasham chin nayam utaschin na babhuva kashit ajo nityah shashvato yam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. The meaning and purpose of this verse is same as in the Bhagavad Gita. But here in this verse, there is no special word vipashit, which means learned or knowledge. The soul is full of knowledge, or the full always with consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is the symptom of the soul. Even if one does not find the soul within the heart where he is situated, one can still understand the presence of the soul simply by the presence of consciousness. Sometimes we do not find the sun in the sky owing to the clouds or some other reason, but the light of the sun is always there, and we are convinced that it is therefore daytime. As soon as there is a little light in the sky early in the morning, we can understand that the sun is in the sky. Similarly, since there is some consciousness in all bodies, whether man or animal, we can understand the presence of the soul. The consciousness of the soul is, however, different from the consciousness of the Supreme, because the Supreme consciousness is all knowledge, past, present, and future. The consciousness of the individual soul is prone to be forgetful. When he is forgetful of his real nature, he obtains education and enlightenment from superior lessons of Krishna. But Krishna is not like forgetful soul. If so, Krishna's teaching of Bhagavad Gita would be useless. Therefore, 2 kinds of souls, namely the minute particles, Anudatma, Anuatma, and the supreme Vibhu Atma. This is also confirmed in the Katha Upanishads in this way. Anor aninyam mahato mahayam atamatya jantaro nihito guhayam tam akratu pashyati vita shoko dhatu prasadam mahima namam atmanah. Both the supreme Paramatma and the atomic soul Jivatma are situated on the same tree of the body within the same heart of the living being. And only one who has become free from all material desires as well as limitations can, by the grace of the Supreme, understand the glories of the soul. Krishna is the fountainhead of the super soul. also as it will be disclosed in the following chapters. And the Arjun is the atomic soul, forgetful of his real nature. Therefore, he requires to be enlightened by Krishna or by his bona fide representative, the spiritual master.
एक चीज इससे बड़ा मतलब मेरे को एक चीज रियलाइज होती है इससे व्हाट आई विल शेयर द रियलाइजेशन द मोर एंड मोर वी बिकम कनेक्टेड टू आवर आत्मा आवर कॉन्शियसनेस द मोर वी विल स्टॉप बिकमिंग पेन एंड प्लेजर से हमको मुक्ति मिलती जाएगी क्योंकि आत्मा आत्मा हैज नथिंग टू डू विद पेन एंड प्लेजर देयर इज नो इट इज सो न्यूट्रल एंड इट इज सो कनेक्टेड टू द लॉर्ड इट इज एक्चुअली it is fully in bliss. So the more, and because our Atma is a part and parcel of the Supreme, Supreme is Anandmay, Satchidananda Vigraha, right? He is full of eternity, full of bliss and full of knowledge. So the more we connect to our soul, the more we will also experience that. The more we will experience our that happiness in like joy. ये मुझे ऐसा लगा.
And Varun, I think one more thing is there. The more we are connecting with the soul, the more we are free from the conditioned mind.
Yes,
है ना?
yes, I think so too. Actually, मुझे तभी लगता है कि ये जो devotees हैं, they don't experience those material miseries because they have now surpassed उनका material mind से अब they are no longer मतलब they are taking part in everything, but they are now taking part in it from the soul के point of view से, not from the conditioned mind के point of view से, जैसा आप कह रहे हैं. So I think that's a very encouraging thing too. That is why to go more and more towards the soul as opposed to your conditioned mind.
इस श्लोक में मतलब जो उन्होंने भगवान ने कहा है वो तो मेरे ख्याल में कि एक तो एटर्निटी ऑफ सोल, सोल जो है वो ना तो उसकी बर्थ होती है ना डेथ होती है, ये उन्होंने शुरू में देयर इज नो बर्थ एंड नो डेथ, neither it gets old nor it ages. So we can also feel it. The child inside us never becomes aged. Although we may become 50 years old, 60 years old, but yet we feel as if we are the small children, still with our mothers. Still we feel like that. No, at least I feel. I feel very, very. You see, your childish tendencies also do not go away, even if you. Nahi?
Yes.
So that is something which I feel. So it for the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. एक तो चीज ये establish किया. He has not come into being nor does come into being and will not come into being. मतलब इसका कोई ना तो पास्ट है ना प्रेजेंट है ना फ्यूचर है, मतलब इट इज एटर्नल. वो भगवान ने अगले श्लोक में भी कहा कि ऐसा कोई टाइम नहीं था व्हेन दीज किंग्स वर नॉट देयर एंड यू आर नॉट देयर. ओनली थिंग इज वो प्रभुपाद ने इसको बार में कहा है यहाँ पे इसमें परपोर्ट में, ऑल्दो नॉट इन श्लोका, कि भाई वी आर फॉरगेटफुल, द इंडिविजुअल सोल इज फॉरगेटफुल बट द लॉर्ड, द सुप्रीम सोल, he knows your past, your present and your future. You see, and he has the capacity to change anything and everything. You know, he will go on to say all this. तो यहाँ पर कर्म है जो एक तो eternity of the souls once again, that कर्म it neither takes part in the neither it is born nor it dies, and it's eternity like that. And the difference between the soul and super soul. Super soul is somebody who is the Supreme Lord. He knows your past, present, and future, and you have this tendency of forgetfulness. And then you are, जैसा तुमने कहा ना कि when the Lord comes, उनको मतलब he does not, it is not his, he does not come with a material body, but we take part. We are given a material body. That is how, although your soul is very pure, yet it gets contaminated because of this kind of body, you know.
Yes.
So I think it has been a very good reading today.
Yes, very good.
है ना. क्योंकि ये
Okay,
दीज
share.
वर्सेस यहाँ पे ना, ये सांख्य योगा की भगवान ने बहुत गजब की बातें करी हैं, क्या नाम है, नो। इसके अंदर में ये इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि कोई डिटैचमेंट वो नहीं सिखा रहे हैं, बार बार यही कह रहे हैं कि बॉडी को इग्नोर नहीं करना है। इसका मतलब बॉडी रिलेशनशिप्स को भी इग्नोर नहीं करना है। ऐसा वरुण ने कहा कि भाई आपके आपके यू यू हैव बीन गिवन सर्टेन ड्यूटीज टुवर्ड्स दोज पर्संस हु आर इन योर चार्ज, है नहीं?
यस,
आपको क्या नाम है, बॉडी की केयर करनी पड़ेगी, और जो बॉडी से रिलेटेड चीजें हैं वो भी कृष्णाइज करना पड़ेगा आपको। अपने घर को क्लीन इसलिए रखना है, जैसा वरुण ने मेरे को कई बार कहा है कि भाई घर को क्लीन इसलिए रखो कि ताकि भगवान आ सके वहां पे।
ये बड़ा
ही
वो
गेट्स ही गेट्स द प्लेजर इन, क्या नाम है, कमिंग टू योर प्लेस,
जैसे हम यहाँ पे पढ़ते हैं भगवत गीता, तो फिर भगवान यहाँ
भगवान रहते हैं
हैं
यहाँ
यहाँ
पे,
पे।
ही कम्स,
तो
ही इज
मेरे
प्रेजेंट
को बड़ा
हियर।
अच्छा लगा, एक बड़ा निरंजन स्वामी महाराज ने उन्होंने कहा कि भाई, या रोमपदा स्वामी ने कहा कि एक्चुअली कि भाई क्लीनलीनेस इज नेक्स्ट टू गॉडलीनेस, क्लीनलीनेस इज अप्रिशिएटेड बाय द लॉर्ड, तो यू स्टार्ट डूइंग क्लीन, यू स्टार्ट बीइंग क्लीन, so then God will be appreciative of it कि देखो यार ये मतलब he is appreciating जो मुझे अच्छा लगता है, वो ये कर रहा है। तो इस तरह से फिर मैंने पापा को अपने को भी में भी लगाया कि तो यार
अब देखो आप लोग का ना, मैं बहुत जो शौच वाली बात जो है ना, क्लीनलीनेस, वो उसके अंदर में और भी उसके फर्दर भी आगे ले जाते हैं कि इंटरनल क्लीनलीनेस एंड एक्सटर्नल क्लीनलीनेस। चलो हम लोग अपनी आत्मशुद्धि भी करनी है हमें
जी,
जो कि हम ये सब पढ़ करके कर रहे हैं, है ना। इसके अलावा आपको एक्सटर्नल शुद्धि भी करनी है भाई, है ना। यू हैव टू कीप योर बॉडी क्लीन, यू हैव टू कीप योर एनवायरनमेंट क्लीन। मतलब यहाँ तक कि वहां पे हम लोगों ने कुछ डिवोटीज को देखा, दे आर मेंटेनिंग द फ्लावर गार्डन, क्या नाम है, अपने घर के सामने। क्यों कर रहे हैं? मतलब इस तरह से कृष्णाइज उन्होंने सोचा है कि भाई जब फ्लावर्स हो गया आपका अच्छा सा वो होगा तो भगवान आएंगे वहां पे। देन
बिल्कुल,
द एंटायर
फ्लावर्स
थिंग,
भगवान को ऑफर कर सकते हैं,
वो फ्लावर्स आप भगवान को ऑफर के, तो आपकी थिंकिंग ही चेंज होने लग जाती है। देन यू डोंट डू इट कि नहीं यार मेरा तो लॉन बड़ा सुंदर लगेगा बाहर वाले लोगों के लिए, नहीं। Then it is not for sense gratification. Then it becomes, that is what is meant by Krishnaizing things. जब आप खाना नहीं बनाते हैं बल्कि प्रसादम बनाते हैं भगवान के लिए, तब फिर आपका एटीट्यूड एकदम चेंज हो जाएगा। You see, that is what is coming out here. So very very nice. और आज रूपा तुम्हारा बच्चा तो तुम्हें बहुत मतलब, you see, I saw him hanging on to your neck. You are very very good. I just wanted to compliment you. हाँ, वो जो थोड़ा बोर फील कर रहा हो यार, हमारी माँ को कहाँ लगा दिया इन लोगों ने। हस्बैंड तो कुछ नहीं कह रहे, लेकिन वो लड़का तो बोर हो रहा है ना, उसको बेचारा ये
है, बस कहता है आके थोड़ी देर में मुझे पुच्ची कर लिया करो। मैंने कहा तुम आ जाएगा।
हाँ, वो खुद ही आ गया। एनीवे, वेरी
लेकिन
नाइस।
ये लोग शेयर कर सकते हैं कि मतलब और क्या लगा किसी को, कोई एनीथिंग विच जैसे मैं अपनी दूसरी क्लास में हम लोग वैसे ही करते हैं कि एनीथिंग एनीबडी वुड लाइक टू से इन द एंड।
Varun, one important point that God is emphasizing more and more, now we should pay more attention towards soul. At least we can start from 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that we are going to concentrate and paying attention towards soul. That now we should start.
Yes.
ये तो आप जो कह रही है ना, ये तो बिल्कुल, ये you have started already. You see the very fact that you have taken time out when आप जो अपने फ्रेंड के घर पे हैं, मतलब अब आप जो है ना, सी क्या है अभी, क्या है लोग जो अगर करते भी हैं तो जब उनको मतलब मेटीरियली कुछ करने को नहीं है और कोई काम नहीं है, तब वो ये भगवत गीता उठा लेंगे या हमारी क्लास को ज्वाइन कर लेंगे। बट तुम्हारा मतलब ये है कि यू हैव रीओरिएंटेड, दैट इज वेयर यू हैव स्टार्टेड फीडिंग योर सोल। नो, वो तो जो तुम कह रही हो बिल्कुल करेक्ट है। इट इज फॉर एवरीवन। और उसको बढ़ेगा सब ऑटोमेटिकली, भगवान आपको क्या नाम है करेंगे, मतलब यू
प्रेरणा देंगे।
हाँ, प्रेरणा देंगे कि कैसे यू विल स्प्रेड द मैसेज ऑफ लॉर्ड टू अदर्स ऑल्सो। बिकॉज जो जैसे जैसे आप डिवोटी बनते जाएंगे ना, तो आप अपने आप ऑटोमेटिकली करुणामयी होते जाएंगे। then you would want to do real service to others. You will
Hmm.
not be serving their body, but you will start serving their soul also.
Yes.
You will try to help their soul.
Hmm.
But then you will not become angry if somebody,
Hmm.
जो है ना, जैसे महाप्रभु जो है वो ही डिड नॉट बिकम एंग्री. जगाई मथाई जो थे, गुंडे जो थे, वो मारने के
Hmm.
लिए उनको आ गए, तो ही डिड नॉट बिकम एंग्री. नित्यानंद
Hmm.
प्रभु, उन्होंने उनको भी मर्सी दी,
जी.
है ना. तो ये जो है, ये वाला एस्पेक्ट धीरे धीरे आएगा हम सभी में,
Yes.
है ना.
Hmm. Hmm.
या यू आर वेरी राइटली सेड.
Hmm.
तो
बिल्कुल
ये
सही
है
कहा मुझे आपने।
है
जी.
ना. हम लोग
जी.
अब खत्म करते हैं, है ना.
जी.
तो एनीथिंग एल्स, और कोई कुछ कहना चाहो, है ना. अदरवाइज बस जस्ट ये प्रेयर कर लेंगे 3 बार और फिर
जी.
हम लोग, है ना.
Hmm.
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
थैंक यू ऑल, थैंक यू वेरी मच.